So what is the next most probable jet to be added in the end of each line in each tech tree today with the Soviet tech tree in aircraft, guys? Let's do the same video that I did yesterday for the US and talk about, for the Soviets, what is the next most probable jet to come in top tier after each line. So after the Yak-141, after the MiG-29 SMT, after the Su-27 SM, after the Su-25 SM3, and after the Su-24M that could actually be added to the tech tree. What are the most probable jets we can see just after the things that we have right now? So starting with the Yak line, which kind of became a navalized line. Of course, we can see some other Yak lines like the Yak-130, but I don't think it would come after the Yak-141, right? So what it can come for the Yak line after the Yak-141? I think there are two very good options. I'm not gonna get too much into each model over here, because the objective is not to say what are the each variants that we have right here in each of this stuff, right? The thing is to talk about the options that we have. So two options for the Yak line, I think, that are the most likely ones. One of them would be the Su-33, a navalized version of the Su-27S that we have in the game. This is the 13.0 version. So obviously it doesn't have R-77s or anything like that. So it would be kind of a not top tier aircraft still, but it would be very advanced, you know, if I'm honest with you guys. It would be pretty much the same in terms of performance. The thing is that it has a little bit more engine for takeoffs on carriers. It has the canards, which would mean that it could counter a little bit of the extra weight of being a naval aircraft, of having the folding wings, the arrestor gear, the extra, you know, heavy weight, stronger gear system that it has to be able to turn better because of that extra weight. And also it has 12 pylons, 2 extra under the wings as well, so you can actually carry 8 R-27s, for example, and 4 R-73s together, so 12 missiles without any double pylon. So very heavy aircraft, to be honest, but still very capable. Would be very, very fun and good to use, basically, right? Another option there that could be added as well, I don't know like which of these would come first, but another one would be a MiG-29K of some sort. Of course, we have a late 80s pre-production model from the Soviet era of these aircraft, but the modern day K would be the most likely one to be added. This would be a navalized version of the MiG-29M M2 that we were going to talk about later, right? But basically what it has is a better radar, so the SMT's radar, the Zuk-M radar. It has 8 pylons under the wings. It has extra fuel like the SMT but without the bulge. Uses the Lurks to use extra fuel there. It has, of course, better weapon systems. Obviously the older current meta R-77 and R-73 would be there, but of course R-77-1s, R-74Ms, and it has any type of air-to-ground ordnance that the Russians have, basically, of any type of mission, basically, right? So CABs, anti-radiation missiles, anti-ship missiles, stuff like that. And also, it has the stronger MK versions of the RD-33 engines, which produce 7% more power. It is a little bit heavier due to being a navalized aircraft, but it is a very, very capable aircraft. Like a stronger SMT, but not by much. Okay, these are for the Yak-141 line. I think these are the ones that are most likely ones to be added. For the MiG-29 SMT line, we have two options as well that I don't think we can pinpoint which of these would be the one added, but both of them could be added very easily, being the next aircraft. One of them would be the MiG-29M or M2, also two variants, of course, late 80s pre-production model, or the modernized one, being the modernized one the most likely one. Everything that I talked about on the K would be here without the naval stuff, so the Zuk-M radar, 8 pylons, everything the Russians have as payloads, faster, more fuel too, that I was talking about it, everything that the K was without being a naval aircraft. So very good as well. Even some of these have, I don't know if the M has, but the K, I know it has some form of radar absorbing paint as well, so it's less, you know, the RCS is a little bit less prominent than the older MiG-29s, for example. And the other option behind or after the MiG-29 SMT can be a jump straight to the MiG-35, which is the, you know, the last MiG-29 to be added ever, right? Basically, it would be very, very similar to the M2s that we're talking about, but with upgrades to the avionics and radars and sensors in general, right? So the radars would be a full PESA or a full AESA radar. The full PESA is the one used normally, but there is an option of clients to be able to buy the AESA. But still, the PESA would be the one that is most likely ones. Of course, everything that I talked about, weapon systems, fuel, engines, everything that we talked about on the M and K would be here as well. But the main thing would be the new radar. Okay, so the weapons as well, R77-1, R74Ms, stuff like this would be added. So these are the two options. The MiG-29M or M2 would be the one that is less, crazy, because it's more or less the performance that we have in the game right now, but with a little bit extra power and stuff. And the MiG-35 would have a completely new type of radar that we don't have in the game yet. So yeah, we gotta wait, right? For the Su-27 SM line, here we have many options. So I will give kind of a general idea what you can expect, in my opinion. One of them would be a better version of the Su-27 SM, right? We are not ready for the Su-35, so an SM2 or SM3 would most likely be the ones that are added here. These would include a new radar or a lot of systems that the Su-35 has, but not being a proper Su-35 still, right? So a new PESA radar, the Irbis, new full glass cockpit, new avionics, new RWR, everything like that, bringing upgrades to the engines as well, being stronger. So yeah, it would be very cool, but it would be basically the same aircraft that we have in the game right now, but with better avionics, better radars, better engines, stuff like that. Small upgrades here and there that would make these aircraft be a proper 4+ generation aircraft, or 4.5, right? Another option would be some form of Su-30. Of course, the Su-30 has many variants, but I think the most likely ones are they can jump straight to being the best Su-30 ever already from the get-go, which I really doubt that they would do with the Su-30 SM or something like that. But I really doubt that we will see that. Of course, the radar would be similar to the one in the Su-27 SM3. But still, it has thrust vectoring and other things. Like it's kind of crazy. The Su-30 SM would be kind of the B-placed version of the Su-35. So I doubt that we will see that. But maybe an earlier model of the Su-30 that wasn't really massively produced, like the Su-30M, that would be similar to the Su-27 SM in many regards, and the M2 maybe, which is an upgrade to that it is used as a training ground for the SM and the Su-35, but that it is less capable, but around the same terms as the SM that we have in the game right now as well. So these are the options that you can think of to expect from the Su-27 line. Of course, this is only my opinion. You leave it in the comments what you want to see, and click the like button, which always helps. Okay, for the last two lines, the Su-25 SM3 line, guys, unless they do something crazy over here, I don't see anything being added to this line. Okay, the Su-25 SM3 is already the top dog of attackers that the Russians have. So like I said, unless they do like a side arrow coming from the Su-27 SM, or maybe a complete disruption of the line between the Su-25 and the next vehicle to add something like the Su-30 to be an option there, okay, maybe something like that. But unless they do something really crazy like that, I don't see anything else being added after the Su-25 SM3, unfortunately, right? But still. And the last line, the Su-24M line that ends in the Su-24M. So there are some sources that claim a little bit that the Su-24M shouldn't be using the CAV 500S, and that's gonna be the Su-24M2, but I don't know about that. I really don't have the sources to really fully back that. The thing is, there are two options over here, and I think one of them is the most likely one. The Su-34 is always an option over here. The Duck is a version of the Su-27 that is made for ground attack. It's a two-seater, side-by-side cockpit, PESA radar, more focused on ground targets, and it can carry everything. It can still do air-to-air, R-74s, R-77s, R-73s, everything with that. It can still do that, but basically uses even cruise missiles. It can use everything that the Russians have in the air-to-ground department, and it would be basically more focused on that, right? So that would be the end game of this line. But before that, we might see, which I think it's the most likely option, the Su-24M2, which would be an Su-24M upgraded to modern day, right? So it would have a new HUD and a new cockpit, more or less. It would have new avionics, new systems overall, but the major thing would be the new addition of some of these weapons that are much upgraded to the older ones. So it would use, for example, a new navigation system, a new weapons control system, but also the KH-31, the KH-59, the KAP-500S that it's used in the Su-24M right now, the R-73, right? So all these upgrades would be added to the Su-24M to make it M2 and be able to be a top-tier interdictor bomber, right? So this is probably the most likely one that would come after the Su-24M, but of course we can jump straight to the Su-34, and they wouldn't care too much of adding a top tier Su-24 because they think it wouldn't be competitive enough or something, right? So these are the two options there as well. And that's it, guys. These are the options for all these lines that are the most likely ones that you will see, you know. So some naval aircraft, some more modernized MiG-29, some more modernized Su-27s, and more modernized interdictors, but we are still far away from the 5th gen or the 4.5 gens or stuff like that, right? I still believe there is a little bit of time, not much, but a little bit of time between now and when these things are going to be added. But yeah, guys, leave it in the comments. What do you think will come in each of these lines? I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, click the like button, and leave it in the comments the options that you would probably see in these lines. See ya, guys. Bye.